was a kid, I was a teenager, I was a college student, I was a 20-something, I was a 30-something. Chances are I will be a 40, 50, 60-year-old something. And I will read comic books. It's just something fun about it. It's just something, an escape for me. What I love, and honestly, I think back, and I think when I was a kid, I was attracted to the characters. And now I'm attracted to the stories. Because they can tell a wonderful story in comics. And it can be better than any movie that you can watch. It can be deeper, it can be thought-provoking, it can be escapist, it can be all of those things. And they're really fantastic. But what I find now, I don't spend very much money on comics. Don't have very much money to spend with a family and kids and bills and all of that stuff. Thank God for the library. Because I can go to the library and they have graphic novels you can check out, you can read for free. My favorite individual comic superhero was always Iron Man. I loved Iron Man. There's something cool about Iron Man. And I tried to figure out what is it about Iron Man that I like, other than the fact that he's a really good-looking guy with lots of money and can have any woman that he wants. And I'm a kid, okay? That's the way, okay? I'm not saying I think that way now, okay? But there's just, but it goes beyond that. Because Iron Man is invincible. Iron Man is strong. Iron Man is hardcore, you know? There's something cool about that, you know, the armor. And I mean, you could hit him and you could break your fist instead of hurting him. And you could shoot him and it would just like, I mean, depending on, okay, I'm really going to geek out on you right now, but it depends on which armor he had. You know, he had some armor that you would just shoot the bullets and they would bounce off, and then he had some that had the force field and the bullets would disintegrate and all that. I mean, really, wow. Which brings me to my second point. Iron Man was strong, but Iron Man also had the gadgets. Now, some of you look at me. I heard something. I heard something that somebody said about me. Somebody said that I was a geek, but not a gamer. I admit that. There's something about me. There's something, you know, my personality, I love to be a geek. I love the gadgets, the tech, all of those tools and everything. It's awesome. And I think that there's something attractive about Iron Man for me that way. I mean, he had all the cool stuff. I mean, stuff that was literally impossible, but he had it. It was so cool. And I love that he had all the gadgets. Okay, so he's strong, but there are other people that are strong. He's invincible. There are other people that are invincible. So that wasn't the reason, that wasn't what drew me to Iron Man. He had all the gadgets. Maybe that's what drew me to Iron Man, because I'm a geek and I love gadgets and tools and all that stuff. No. Oh, I know what it is. Iron Man was a hero. He was just a regular guy that was doing extraordinary things with no benefit to himself. Iron Man is a hero, and I want to be a hero. No, I'll be honest with you. The thing that I identified with Iron Man was because he had a heart condition. But he overcame that. Those of you who know, I have a heart condition. So throughout my childhood, I identified with Iron Man because he had a heart condition, but it didn't stop him. And I have a heart condition, and I'm not going to let it stop me. whether you're a comic fan or a superhero fan or whatever, there's something about superheroes, there's something about these larger-than-life characters, somewhere, someone you can identify with. Because at the essence of this story, this myth that they're trying to tell, this character, what they're trying to do is they're trying to overcome their humanity and become more than that. That's the reason we call them not just heroes, but superheroes. Because they're better, they're bigger than life, but they're better than life. Man, that's cool. I want to be a superhero. I want to be more than me. I want to become more than human. Isaiah chapter 14. This is the problem with superheroes. Isaiah 14 verse 12 says, "How you have fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly, on the utmost heights of the sacred mountain. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you were brought down to the grave, to the depths of the pit." The problem with superheroes is that on some level, in some way, they strive to be more than human. They come close to being God, and all the people around them look at them that way. They look at them for salvation. They look at them for strength. They look at them for power. All of those things. They look at the superheroes for that. So remember what I said, that the things that attracted me to Iron Man. The fact that he was invincible, but he wasn't. Because Iron Man, the way that he stayed alive was the suit of armor that gave him his strength was actually the thing that kept him alive, because he had that shrapnel in his heart, and he had to keep that on there to keep the shrapnel from busting his heart or whatever. But he wasn't invincible. The very thing that brought him invincibility was the thing that made him the most mortal that he was. Remember, I talked about the gadgets. The thing about it, this gadgets represents the best that man can do. The clearest, the cleverest, the smartest, the most engineering. He had to use the best that man could come up with, the best that man could achieve to become more than human. Remember, I said that he was a hero. But who's the hero? Is it Tony Stark? Or is it Iron Man? Because as long as his identity is hidden behind a mask, nobody knows it's Tony Stark. Now, the movies messed it up, okay, but in the comics, and what really counts. But this mask that prevented anybody from knowing him, the mask is what separated him from the rest of humanity. And in all of these things, whether it's the strength and invincibility, whether it's the gadgets, or whether it's the heroism, in all of these things, the things that actually separated him from humanity were the things that he was using to become more than human, to ascend, to achieve more, to become like God. And every hero has that God complex. The verses that I read in Isaiah, a lot of times biblical scholars will say that they are an exposition of Satan, of Lucifer. The morning star is actually in Latin, is Lucifer, and so they say that it's Lucifer is the translation, and it's actually referring to Satan, who was an angel who was cast down. Everybody knows that backstory. But I think that the story is more than just about Satan. I think the story is also about us. Because every one of us want to become more than human. Every one of us want to be a superhero. Every one of us wants to ascend, to achieve, to become more than. But if we rely on ourself, on our strength, on our mental ability, the same thing will happen to us as what happened to the morning star. You may achieve and you may ascend for a while, but please understand that within yourself and on your own power, you're going to fall and you're going to crash and you're going to burn. No matter how good you are, this isn't the Olympics year, but we see the Olympics and we see the best that humanity can bring as far as physical training. And boy, we want to cheer that on. But the best that humanity can bring, even in stories, is not good enough. Because in the end, it crashes and burns. Now, let me tell you about another superhero. In John chapter 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth." Now, in that, see, here's the difference, here's the distinction that I want you to see. In our hearts, corrupt and dark as they are, we want to ascend. We want to become more. But God descended. He came down and brought power with him. Not humanly power, not humanly wisdom, not human intellect, not human ability, not human strength. He brought power from heaven down onto earth. But even more than that, those who believe on him, he gave power to become the children of God.
Thank you, Jesus.
So in my life, what I want to do is I don't want to ascend. I want to open so that God can descend into me. Because when he does that, the true power, the greatest power that humanity has ever known, becomes not just real, but it becomes obvious in my life.